Did you know some engines can power through 500,000 miles and keep going? That's right. While most people are trading in their cars every few years, these engines are just hitting their stride. Today, I've got 15 legendary engines that might just change the way you think about car ownership. These aren't just powerhouses. They're the tough, long-lasting workhorses of the automotive world. If you've ever wondered how to spot these hidden gems in the used car market, stick around. Let's start with a true icon of the diesel world, the Ford 7.3L V8. This engine isn't about flash or high-tech gimmicks. It's pure, unrelenting durability. In a world obsessed with hybrids and EVs, you might wonder, why care about an old-school diesel? Well, think of the 7.3L like that veteran at the gym who's been lifting the same weights for decades and still outperforms the rookies. So, what makes the 7.3L Power Stroke so special? It comes down to simplicity and brute strength, a cast iron block that's tough as nails, forged internals built to take a beating, and a design so straightforward that even a backyard mechanic can work on it. This engine doesn't need fancy tech to stay alive. Fuel, air, and a little care are all it takes. And these aren't just empty boasts. I've seen 7.3L engines with 500,000 miles still pulling heavy loads like they're brand new. Some trucks have even passed the million-mile mark without ever swapping engines. So, what's the typical lifespan? With proper maintenance, you're looking at 350,000 to 500,000 miles, easily outlasting 5 or 6 typical engines. But let's switch gears, from old-school diesel to something a little more controversial. Remember when Ford claimed a V6 could replace a V8? Yeah, people laughed. But now, the Ford 3.5L EcoBoost is the one doing the laughing. When Ford rolled out the EcoBoost in 2007, plenty of folks were skeptical. A V6 promising V8 power and better fuel efficiency. Sounded too good to be true. But guess what? Ford nailed it. The EcoBoost found its way into everything from the F-150 to the Lincoln Navigator, and it's been proving itself ever since. Sure, early models had their quirks. Turbo problems, carbon buildup, the usual teething issues. But Ford didn't just shrug it off. They went back to the drawing board. The second-gen EcoBoost brought with it stronger turbos, improved valves, and an upgraded fuel system. The result? More power, better torque, and the same fuel efficiency that started it all. Let's talk numbers. In its most powerful form, the Ford 3.5-liter EcoBoost cranks out 660 horsepower under the hood of the Ford GT. That's supercar-level performance from a V6. But what about longevity? Here's the kicker. These engines are regularly surpassing 200,000 miles in SUVs like the Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator. And get this, 80% of F-150s sold in 2021 came equipped with an EcoBoost. That's a massive vote of confidence from truck buyers who rely on their engines day in and day out. So, how does it measure up to the classic V8s? Well, you're getting V8 power with better fuel efficiency. While the EcoBoost might not cross the 500,000-mile threshold like the old 7.3L diesel, with the right care, these engines are proving they can stand the test of time. But let's shift gears. Imagine a 2.0L four-cylinder that can take down V8s, but might not survive the long haul. That's the reality of the Nissan SR20 Det, a high-risk, high-reward player in the performance engine game. Since its debut in the early 90s, the SR20 Det has been a go-to for tuners, powering icons like the Nissan Silvia and 240SX. Right out of the factory, it delivers 200 horsepower. But that's just the beginning. This engine's versatility is unmatched. Want to double or triple the power? No problem. Thanks to its iron block and aluminum head, the SR20 DT can take a beating. It's no wonder it's become a drifting scene legend. But there's a catch. All that potential comes with a price. A stock SR20 Det can last 150,000 miles if you stay on top of maintenance. But once you start pushing the limits, things get tricky. Heat management, turbo stress, and fragile internals can turn this performance beast into a ticking time bomb. Respect the SR20 Det, and it'll reward you. Neglect it, and you'll be looking at a hefty repair bill. Now let's move from high-risk performance to an engine that's practically bulletproof. It's been powering everything from classic muscle cars to modern trucks, and chances are you've seen it more times than you realize. Meet the Chevy small block V8, an engine that's been holding down the fort since 1955. That's nearly 70 years of constant evolution, adapting to new emission standards and performance trends. Think of it like a seasoned veteran who can still outlift rookies at the gym. So, what's the secret behind the small block's longevity? Simplicity. It sticks to a pushrod layout with fewer moving parts than today's overhead cam engines. Fewer parts mean fewer chances for things to break. And let's not forget the cast iron block. It's tough, durable, and can take a lifetime of abuse. Whether it's powering a Camaro, Corvette, or Chevy Silverado, the small block is the backbone of American automotive culture, and it shows no signs of slowing down. In its classic 350 cubic inch form, the Chevy small block V8 delivers anywhere from 205 to 370 horsepower, depending on the setup. That's some serious muscle that stood the test of time. But no engine is flawless. As the miles rack up, the small block can develop oil leaks and needs regular maintenance to stay in top shape. However, treat it right, and you're looking at incredible longevity. I've seen these engines cross the 300,000-mile mark and keep going strong, proof that this piece of American engineering is built to last. Now, if you think 300,000 miles is impressive, wait until you hear about the BMW M30 Straight 6. This German masterpiece powered BMWs from 1968 to 1994, giving it a staggering 26-year production run. That's longer than most of us keep our phones, or maybe even our cars. But the M30 isn't just old, it's legendary. Built with a cast iron block that can take some serious abuse, the M30 also features a 7-bearing crankshaft. In engineering speak, that means it's practically indestructible. Here's where things get even more interesting. Unlike most engines that rely on timing belts, the M30 uses a timing chain. While belts typically need to be replaced every 60,000 miles, a chain like this can last as long as the engine itself. It's like owning a pair of boots that never wear out. I've come across M30 engines with 300,000, 400,000, even 500,000 miles, still running in cars that hit the road decades ago. Sure, they might develop a little oil leak here and there, but when you're talking about 500,000 miles, a little drip doesn't seem like such a big deal. The M30 proves that sometimes the old ways really are better. Speaking of longevity, let's turn to a Swedish powerhouse that's been quietly running for decades. Ever wonder why some of those old Volvos just won't quit? There's a reason under the hood, and it's called the Volvo B230. This 2.3L inline-4 powered Volvo's iconic 240 and 740 series throughout the 80s and 90s, and it's earned a reputation for being practically unkillable. While modern engines grow more complicated, the B230 sticks to the basics. It features a cast iron block paired with a forged steel crankshaft. That's rock-solid engineering, built for durability over flash. And don't assume simplicity means weakness. Despite its straightforward design, the B230 has more than enough power to handle whatever you throw at it, whether that's commuting in winter snow or racking up hundreds of thousands of miles. The Volvo B230 isn't just reliable, it's legendary for how long it can keep running. And here's the best part. This isn't some pampered show car engine we're talking about. These engines are found in daily drivers, workhorses that rack up insane mileage year after year. There are plenty of B230 engines still going strong at 300,000 miles, and some have even hit the million-mile mark. That's the kind of durability that makes you rethink what an engine is capable of. And it's not limited to cars. The B230 has powered everything from generators to industrial equipment, proving its versatility and staying power no matter the job. Now, if you're impressed by the B230's longevity, wait until you hear about another engine that's been powering trucks, forklifts, and everything in between for decades. Let me introduce you to the Toyota 22R, a 2.4L inline-4 that's been the backbone of Toyota's rock-solid reputation since the 1980s. This engine doesn't just survive, it thrives under pressure. You might wonder how a 40-year-old design could still hold relevance today. The answer is simple: simplicity itself. The 22R sticks to the basics: a cast iron block for strength, an aluminum head for reduced weight, and a design that makes repairs straightforward and affordable. Here's the kicker. I've seen 22R engines roll past 500,000 miles without skipping a beat, and these aren't highway cruisers. We're talking about hard-working trucks that have hauled heavy loads through mud, snow, and desert heat, day in, day out. So what's the typical lifespan of a 22R? With basic maintenance, you're looking at 300,000 to 400,000 miles. That's not an exaggeration. This engine could easily outlive 3 or 4 average engines. The maintenance is as simple as the design: regular oil changes, and maybe swap out the timing chain every 100,000 miles. And that's about it. The 22R was built to keep you moving, not to keep you in the repair shop. Now, let's switch gears to a performance powerhouse that blends longevity with high revving thrills. Enter the Honda K20, a 2.0L inline-4 that's been making waves since the early 2000s. You'll find this engine tucked under the hoods of Civic Type Rs, Acura RSX, and even track-tuned Hondas. Most performance engines are great for short bursts of speed, but tend to wear out quickly. But the K20? It's a different breed entirely. The secret to the K20's success lies in Honda's VTEC system. That's variable valve timing and lift electronic control. At low RPMs, the engine focuses on fuel efficiency and smooth driving. But when you punch it, the K20 unleashes a surge of power, revving up to 8,000 RPM or more. It's the best of both worlds. Daily driver reliability with the heart of a high-revving race engine. Whether you're commuting or tearing up the track, the K20 proves that performance doesn't have to come at the cost of durability. Here's the impressive part. Despite all that high-revving performance, the Honda K20 is incredibly tough. These engines regularly hit 200,000 to 300,000 miles and keep on running like they're just getting warmed up. And we're not just talking about stock versions. Some of these high-mileage K20s are in heavily modified cars, tuned and pushed to their limits. And yet, they refuse to quit. That's what makes the K20 so unique. It challenges the belief that performance engines sacrifice longevity. With the K20, you get both power and reliability wrapped in the same package. But if you thought those numbers were impressive, wait until you hear about an engine that makes 300,000 miles sound like child's play. Ever wonder what kind of engine can last over 1 million miles? Mercedes-Benz figured that out decades ago. Meet the OM617, a 3.0L inline-5 diesel that's been powering vehicles since 1974. This engine is like the wise old master of diesel technology, still showing newer models how it's done. Built with a cast-iron block and head, the OM617 is virtually indestructible. And while you might expect an engine from the 70s to be sluggish, think again. The turbocharged version cranked out up to 227 horsepower. Pretty impressive for something born during the disco era. But here's where things get crazy. These engines aren't just surpassing 200,000 or 300,000 miles. There are OM617s out there with over 1 million miles on the odometer. In fact, European taxi drivers have been running these engines for decades, racking up insane mileage without a hitch. So what's the secret to keeping an OM617 alive for the long haul? It's surprisingly simple. Regular oil changes, using quality diesel oil, letting the engine warm up properly, and sticking to basic maintenance. Follow those steps, and this engine might just outlast your grandkids. It's a reminder that sometimes simple, well-built technology can outperform the flashy, high-tech stuff. And do it for generations. Think about it. If Chinese EVs get locked out of the market, what happens next? Prices climb. And if American automakers are forced to overhaul their production processes, those added costs will eventually land in your lap. Next time you're browsing for a new car, remember, this isn't just about horsepower or fancy tech. It's part of a much larger game involving global politics, trade wars, and the relentless race for technological dominance. Your next car purchase? It's caught in the middle, but here's the twist. Cars are just the beginning. This tech war is gearing up to hit everything, from your smartphone to your refrigerator. Today, it's about EVs and semiconductors. Tomorrow, it'll seep into every corner of your life. Remember the days when buying a car meant picking a color and haggling over the price? Yeah, those days are gone. Now your car choices are tangled in a global chess match. And the biggest losers? You guessed it, you and me. Let me break it down. Higher prices, fewer options, and delays in affordable EVs are all on the table. With Chinese tech getting the boot, automakers are scrambling for new suppliers. That means higher production costs. And guess who's footing the bill? If you thought the sticker shock was bad before, brace yourself. We could be looking at thousands of dollars added to the price of your next vehicle. And it's not just the money. Choices are shrinking. Imagine walking into a dealership, expecting rows of cars to choose from, only to find limited inventory. Automakers struggling to get parts means fewer models on the lot. The dream of a budget-friendly electric car? Well, let's just say that's getting delayed too. But enough about politics. Let's shift gears to an engine legend that's rewriting the rules of performance and longevity. Enter the Toyota 2JZ GTE, an icon that refuses to fade into history. This 3.0L inline-6 roared to life under the hood of the Toyota Supra, and it's been turning heads ever since. Built with a cast-iron block and aluminum head, this engine isn't just tough, it's practically bulletproof. And the best part? The 2JZ isn't just about brute strength. Toyota engineered it with precision, giving it a sequential twin-turbo system that delivers smooth, relentless power without compromising reliability. You might think all that horsepower comes at the cost of longevity, but think again. Stock 2JZ GTE engines are racking up 250,000 miles with basic maintenance. That's right, a high-performance engine pushing 250,000 miles. And here's the wild part. This engine loves to be modified. We're talking about two JZ GTEs cranking out over 1,000 horsepower and still pushing past 100,000 miles. But before you start bolting on turbos left and right, there's a method to the madness. The two JZ GTE may be tough, but it demands respect. The secret to keeping these powerhouse engines alive is simple. Proper maintenance. High-quality synthetic oil isn't just a suggestion, it's essential. Stick to that routine, and you're looking at an engine that could easily outlast the car itself. The Honda B-Series engine, for example. Since the late 80s, this engine has been surpassing the 100,000-mile mark like it's nothing. But the B-Series did more than just last. It helped shape an entire tuner culture. This isn't just an engine, it's a growing legend. From the late 1980s to the early 2000s, the B-Series family, featuring icons like the Macan B16 and B18, powered some of Honda's most beloved models. These engines were built for speed and endurance, designed to hit high revs over and over without breaking a sweat. What made the B-Series stand out? Smart design. Honda crafted these engines with sturdy blocks and meticulously engineered internals. And let's not forget VTEC, a system that gave the B-Series a split personality. At low RPMs, it stayed efficient and smooth. But once the revs climbed, it unleashed serious power. You'd think all this performance would hurt longevity, but here's the kicker. B-Series engines often push past 250,000 miles with proper care. I've seen B18Cs and Integra Type Rs still screaming to 8,000 RPM after 200,000 miles of hard driving. Want to keep a B-Series running forever? It's not rocket science. Regular oil changes and timing belt replacements. Do that, and you'll have an engine that keeps going long after others have given up. Now let's shift from Honda's high-revving four-cylinder to a V8 that redefined luxury performance. What happens when you combine the power of a luxury sedan with the durability of a tank? You get Toyota's UZ Series V8. First hitting the streets in 1989, the 4.0L 1UZ FE was Toyota's way of setting a new bar in the luxury market, and they didn't hold back. This engine came with an aluminum block and heads, built to aerospace-level tolerances. Yeah, you heard that right. Jet engine precision under the hood of a Lexus. But the 1UZ wasn't just about power. Toyota equipped it with a sophisticated valve train and reinforced internals. Translation? This V8 was designed to go the distance. We're talking about engines that can hit 300,000 miles without breaking a sweat. And here's the best part. It's surprisingly low maintenance. Forget the complicated luxury engine stereotype. With the 1UZ, it's oil changes and timing belts that keep it running strong for years. Stick to the basics, and this engine won't quit. So, what's the formula for an engine that outlives the car? It's all about smart design and quality materials. The best engines keep things simple. Fewer moving parts means fewer opportunities for failure. Tough materials like cast iron blocks and forged internals make engines that stand the test of time. But even the toughest engine needs attention. Skipping oil changes or ignoring basic maintenance is a surefire way to shorten its lifespan. Take care of the essentials, and you'll be amazed at how far a well-built engine can go. As we shift toward electric vehicles, these long-lasting gas and diesel engines might become rarer, but they won't vanish completely. Work trucks, commercial vehicles, and markets that aren't ready to go fully electric will still need engines that hit 500,000 miles. The future of engine durability lies in finding the balance between performance and longevity. And for now, these powerhouse engines continue to prove that with the right care, they'll outlast just about anything else on the road. What about you? How far has your engine taken you? Got a high-mileage legend under the hood? Drop your stories in the comments. We'd love to hear how far your car has gone and what kept it running strong.